Aloha! And thank you for attending the Annual Illicit Discharge Detection and Elimination Training, or IDDE training, presented by the State of Hawaii Department of Transportation, Harbors. Please finish the online questionnaire provided in the email notification upon completion of this training video. The purpose of this training is to discuss the fundamentals of environmental stewardship and responsibilities to uphold this program. This video will discuss how illicit discharges impact the environment as well as the potential pollutants of concern. IDDE program requirements. List of allowable non-stormwater discharges. Common illicit discharges found from activities conducted at the harbor, and suspected illicit discharge reporting procedures and enforcement from violations. Our goal as good stewards is to ensure that our coastal waters are clean for every being to enjoy. Clean water is of vital importance for our own use as well as to the fishing and tourism industry. Ultimately, it is our responsibility to protect wildlife, including many species only found here in Hawaii. Overall, we should be proactive to ensure that we leave behind clean water, healthy reefs, and a sustainable environment for generations to come. Trash, such as discarded plastic, paper, wood, or metals, is a significant and growing problem in our ocean. However, these are not the only culprits impacting our waters. Settlements, chemicals, and biological hazards, if not properly managed on the land side, could also incur negative impacts to our ocean and marine life, which will be discussed later in this presentation. How can we prevent pollutants from entering our ocean and waterways? Through education and training, we become aware and knowledgeable of how to identify and prevent illicit discharge from entering the harbor's Municipal Separate Storm Sewer System, or MS4, also known as the storm drain system. Activities conducted at the land side may impact stormwater runoff, which is a precipitation that falls from the sky as rain or snow that melts and runs off the landscape. Stormwater runoff picks up pollutants along its flow of path before discharging into nearby storm drains or waterways. Once the stormwater has entered the storm drain system, it flows and discharges directly to adjoining harbors with no treatments. Therefore, it is essential to manage potential pollutants at the source before they reach the storm drain system. One potential source of pollutants is from an illicit discharge. An illicit discharge can be defined as a non-stormwater discharge that poses a risk to the environment. An easy way to remember this is that only rain in the drain. The pictures on this slide provide examples of pollutants that may cause an illicit discharge and should be avoided, such as an uncontained concrete washout, oil and chemicals, and settlement. As mentioned previously, pollutants have the potential to cause an illicit discharge if they make their way into the storm drain system. Pollutant is defined as a type of material or waste that degrades the quality of water, public health, the environment, or the beneficial use of receiving waters. Through the next slides, we will discuss the different types of pollutants and how they impact our ocean. The most common pollutants of concerns that have been observed at or around the harbors include settlement, nutrients, bacteria or other pathogens, debris and garbage, chemical and hydrocarbons, and metals such as copper, zinc, aluminum. To enhance the understanding, we have sorted out the pollutants in 3 categories, which will be discussed in the next few slides in detail. These categories include physical pollutants, chemical pollutants, and biological pollutants. Physical pollutants include sediment from construction sites, erosions, urban areas, and container yards, and agricultural practices. Adding sediments to our ocean reduces light transmission to coral and plants, smother habitats, impair recreational use of water bodies, and may assist in transferring other pollutants. Although temperature is not an issue which we are concerned with in Hawaii currently, an increase of temperature in stormwater runoff and other discharges from power plants and impervious areas may threaten marine species in streams and our oceans. Gross solids such as garbage, trash, and plastics are derived from mundane human activities. They have major impacts on aquatic life, especially if they're mistakenly taken as food. Gross solids also impact recreational areas and are expensive to clean up. Chemical pollutants includes nutrients such as nitrogen and phosphorus sourced from leaves and grass clippings, fertilizers, and sewage leaks, which can lead to algae blooms. Paint and paint thinners, solvents, degreasing agents, curing agents, sealing compounds, and PCBs from construction sites, industrial and maintenance facilities, and illegal dumping threaten aquatic life, causes bioaccumulation, and poses a risk to human health. Pesticides, herbicides, rodenticides, and insecticides from agricultural use and urban landscaping also poses a threat to aquatic life, causing bioaccumulation, and poses a risk to human health. Metal pollutants can appear in form of dissolved or solid and are toxic to aquatic life, cause bioaccumulation, and poses a threat to human health. They usually come from streets and highways, buildings, materials, industrial activities, and container yards. Most common types of metals attributing to exceedance in stormwater discharge at the harbors includes copper, zinc, lead, iron, and aluminum. Hydrocarbons such as oils and grease, fuels and hydraulic fluid from the streets, highways, container yards, fuel sites, illegal dumpings, and leaks from vehicles and equipment have the potential to impact aquatic life and are the potential threat to human health. Biological pollutants such as E. coli, fecal matter, and enterococcus from leaking septic and sewer systems, illegal connections, and animal waste are also a threat to human health and aquatic life. In addition to physical, chemical, and biological pollutants, other common pollutants include oxygen demand, pH, algae, and chlorophyll. In the next few slides, we'll be focusing on the program's requirements. Conducting site assessments at high-risk areas is required to assist in identifying illicit discharge from a facility or a construction site. Site assessments also aim to increase the field presence of HDOT personnel and to ultimately prevent illicit discharges from occurring. Another program requirement is to provide outreach activities during the site assessments and assess various locations for signage. HDOT personnel provides BMP flyers such as this one and other training materials in hopes to raising stormwater pollution's prevention awareness so as to prevent illicit discharge by managing pollutants at their source. Locations for pollution prevention signs are assessed based on the patterns of illicit discharges observed in the past, and these signs have been installed at various locations throughout the harbors. Going forward with HDOT will continue to inspect these signs and evaluate the needs for additional signs at least once every 2 years. All known storm trenches and inlets have been stenciled, which has been inspected for maintenance twice a year. The Clean Water Act, which is the main drive for stormwater compliance, was established in 1972. It creates a basic structure to regulate pollutant discharges into the waters of the United States. This act gave the Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, the authority to implement pollution control programs and making it unlawful to discharge any pollutants from point source and a non-point source into navigable waters unless a permit is obtained. In Hawaii, the EPA delegated its authority to the Department of Health Clean Water Branch to administrate the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, or NPDES, permit program. In a nutshell, the NPDES permit program is required under Clean Water Act. It is listed in the Code of the Federal Regulation, Title 40, Part 122, and in the Hawaii Administrative Rules under Chapter 1154 and 1155. HAR 1154 establishes the state water quality standards, which protect the water body for its determined use. It is important to remember that everyone must comply with the HAR 1154 regardless whether they need an NPDES permit or not. The Department of Health Clean Water Branch has issued 2 NPDES Notice of General Permit Coverage, or NGPC permits to harbors for their small municipal separate storm sewer system. or small MS4s at Honolulu Harbor and Kalaeloa Barbers Point Harbor. These permit covers discharges from stormwater and certain non-stormwater discharges from these two small MS4s. As with all laws, there are penalties and fines as consequences of non-compliance. One of the requirements of the NPDES permit is to develop, implement, and enforce Stormwater Management Plan, or SWAMP. Harbors has developed a SWAMP for both Honolulu Harbor and Kalaeloa Barbers Point Harbor. The goal of this SWAMP is to minimize the discharge of potential pollutants from entering the permittees' small MS4s and adjacent harbors in order to protect our water quality and to satisfy the appropriate water quality requirements of the Clean Water Act. The SWAMP includes 6 minimum control measures that EPA considers essential for a successful stormwater management program. These 6 minimum control measures include public education and outreach, Section A; public involvement, participation, Section A; illicit discharge detection and elimination, Section B; construction site runoff control, Section C; post-construction stormwater management in new development redevelopment, Section D; and pollution prevention, good housekeeping, Section E. IDDE, which stands for illicit discharge detection and elimination, falls under Section B. For more information, Harbor SWAMP can be found on the website. Certain discharges are allowed under HAR 1155 Appendix K General Permit. These include discharges from daily operations such as waterline flushing, uncontaminated AC condensate, landscape irrigation, discharges from portable water sources and foundation drains, water from crawl-space pumps and footing drains, uncontaminated groundwater, water from natural origins such as springs and diverted spring flows, and emergency situations such as discharges from firefighting activities. There are several ways in which illicit discharge may occur at a site. Common types of illicit discharge include uncontained washing stations such as washing machines or hand washing sinks that discharge to the ground, unpermitted or improperly contained power washing activities such as a vehicle and equipment washing, spills from a vehicle maintenance, material storage, or fueling operations, sheen and water runoff from staining, painting, operations, and other debris, and sediments from construction activities. The most effective way to manage and control potential pollutants at their source is by implementing proper BMPs. The EPA defines BMPs as schedules of activities, prohibition of practices, maintenance procedures, and management practices used to prevent or reduce pollution from entering the waters of the United States. When selecting BMPs, it is important to consider all of the activities conducted at the site that may affect stormwater runoff. In the next few slides, we'll discuss common illicit discharge that could have been prevented if BMPs were properly implemented in place. Wash water from sinks or washing machines must either be connected to a sanitary sewer or discharged into a container and properly disposed of to prevent soaps and detergents from entering the storm drains and adjacent harbors. Building and vehicle and equipment power washing activities require proper permitting and containment to be implemented in order to prevent an illicit discharge. Vehicle washing also requires proper permitting and containment to prevent wash water from being discharged into a nearby storm drain. Washing of vehicles and equipment should be done in a designated area where wash water can be properly contained and disposed of. Can you identify the potential pollution problem on this photo? Spills from including the ones from actively leaking vehicles and equipment should be addressed immediately. Stormwater runoff picks up sediments, dirt, oil, and chemicals before discharging into the storm drains and adjacent harbor. Winds can also blow loose sediment and dirt into the nearby storm drain inlet or harbor as pictured here. Paint chips or debris from painting operations is another common illicit discharge that can be easily prevented by implementing proper BMPs such as use of tarps during painting activities. A sheen observed in stormwater runoff can be prevented by addressing spills, staining, or active leaks immediately, ensuring vehicles and equipment are maintained regularly to prevent leaks and utilize drip protection measures beneath the vehicles with active leaks. Can you identify potential pollution problems shown on this photo? Ground staining that has not been properly cleaned will create a sheen in stormwater runoff. Ensure any leaks or drips from vehicles and equipment are addressed immediately and properly. Implement drip containment measures beneath active leaking vehicles and equipment. Make sure drip containment measures are adequate in catching any leaks or drips. Sediment from construction activities is a common pollutant to stormwater. Ensuring BMPs are properly installed and maintained will prevent sediments from washing into the storm drain system. Please reach out to the following list of contacts if you observe sediments or other pollutants being discharged from a construction site at harbors. Currently, there are only 5 harbor tenant facilities which have been approved to conduct vehicle and equipment washing at the designated wash rack or washing area within their premises. Any other tenant facility who wishes to perform washing activities at their leased space must first obtain prior consent from DOT Harbors. Notification is another important component when dealing with illicit discharges and spills. The first notification should go to the Harbor Traffic Control Office at 808-587-2076. Provide the location, date, and time of the incident, a brief description, responsible parties if known, cause of the incident, and the type of media that received the discharge. Harbor Traffic Control will then notify corresponding state and federal offices, including Harbor Environmental Hotline, for further investigation. This slide further outlines the illicit discharge investigation and reporting steps. Remember, if you observe a suspected illicit discharge, stop to investigate. Take photos and note of what you have observed. Trace the suspected illicit discharge by locating the source. Speak to any personnel in the area regarding the suspected illicit discharge. Call Harbors Traffic Control, who is on duty 24/7. Fill out and submit the suspected illicit discharge report from HRE for follow-on investigation if warranted and for the record tracking in our CityWorks Assess Management System. Showing on this slide, the one on the left is a blank suspected illicit discharge reporting form, and on the right is the notification list tailored for Harbor Traffic Control Office. Again, if you see something, say something. Report it to Harbor Traffic Control Office, available 24/7 at 808-587-2076. At the end of the day, we all have a responsibility to protect our ocean water, especially living in Hawaii. In order to do this, please continue to practice and promote good housekeeping measures, implement source control BMPs, respond to spills promptly, and report suspected illicit discharges and spills to the appropriate offices. Harbors enforces on an escalated system. An oral or verbal warning can be given during the inspection or site assessment. The written warning includes the inspection report with deficiency observed and a cover letter. Sometimes the inspection report itself can be served as a written warning. A notice of apparent violation may be given if deficiencies have not been resolved following the oral or written warning. If violations persist, a notice of findings of violation and order may be issued, and the case will be referred to the Department of Health Clean Water Branch. Furthermore, severe offense may result in fines and termination of the lease or revocable permit. We appreciate everyone's effort in working together to meet the requirements of Harbor's permit and ultimately the Clean Water Act to keep our ocean resources free from pollution to the best of our abilities. Thank you again for attending this training presentation. Let's all strive for continual improvement by obeying laws and preventing pollution. As a reminder, please complete the online questionnaire and survey provided in the email from the environmental section. Here again, our shared message. Protect our harbor waters.